It's Wednesday. My alarm goes off at 5:30 a.m. and I wonder, how is it time for me to get up already? I kick off my day with a speedy 45-minute walk, and after a quick shower, I rush to kiss my husband goodbye as I race out the door by 7 a.m. so I can beat the traffic. On my drive to work, I chat with my brother and vent with a colleague about a frustrating meeting from the day before. When I arrive at work, I grab coffee and breakfast, though my food will go cold before I get a chance to enjoy it, because without notice, I'm pulled into a meeting room to discuss confidential business performance issues. As the head of people and culture, I am constantly dealing with people issues, so my workdays always have some element of surprise. By 8:30, I check in with my team before heading into my first of 8 meetings for the day. Around lunchtime, my husband Paul sends me a text message about an urgent change in childcare plans, but he assures me that he can handle it and that I don't need to worry. My meetings cover a range of different topics, from org structure changes to culture and engagement. Throughout the day, I am constantly pinged on Teams by leaders who are asking for just 5 minutes of my time, but they rarely just mean 5 minutes. On the drive home, I multitask with work calls while mentally planning for dinner. When I arrive home, one of my kids is in tears about a conflict they've had at school, so I stop the dinner prep to have an important conversation about friendships. At dinner, we share about our day, though the kids seem more interested in avoiding their vegetables. After their showers, I read with each of the boys, enjoying our snuggle time together. And finally, I do some life admin. I do online grocery shopping and complete a bunch of school notes before getting ready for bed, feeling drained but fulfilled. Our society today is full of messages telling us that we should have it all: career, family, holidays, friendships, wealth, and freedom. And from the outside, at least, it might look like I am living that kind of life. But there's a narrative that's missing here, something that posts and influencers rarely want to talk about. And it's the reason why these have-it-all messages can leave us feeling more overwhelmed than empowered. The truth is, every decision you make in life will have some kind of trade-off. Whenever you choose to do one thing, you are choosing to not do something else. Whenever you choose to have one thing, you are choosing to not have something else. This is true with marriage, having a job, owning a home, friendships, even what you ate for dinner tonight. Every yes contains a no. Every pursuit involves a denial. Every gain involves a loss. When I was younger and trying to figure out how to navigate life, I came across these verses from Romans 12, and they say, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." These verses helped me understand that there are two ways to approach life. We can either follow the pressures and the expectations of the world, or we can go with what God has in store for us. Both of these options claim to bring satisfaction, but only one truly does. It's about how we live our lives and understanding the consequences of our choices. Tonight, I want to share some wisdom with you that I have gained from trying to put these verses into practice in my own life in the big decisions. After high school, I felt a lot of pressure to go straight to uni, but I knew I wasn't ready. It felt like everyone around me was going off to study law or medicine or teaching, and none of those things were really for me. I didn't want to go to uni to just simply tick a box and do what everyone else did. I enrolled in early childhood education to please my parents, even though teaching isn't really my passion. But instead, I opted to go to business college to gain some practical skills. I faced some judgment from family and friends because going straight to uni after high school was seen as the right path to have a successful life. But those passages from Romans really grounded me. They helped me to understand that when seeking God's will for my life, that means looking at the world from a different perspective, seeing what He truly wants for me, not just following the crowd. So many of the pressures we experience in life are caused by a distorted view of success and a desire to please the people around us. It's important to think about who is influencing us and to seek God's will in every season. After Paul and I got married, we had a number of conversations about how to structure our lives according to God's will. And those discussions led us, over the next 10 years or so, to live in a range of really crappy apartments. And the reason we lived in these really crappy apartments is because we were trying to save money, because we wanted to have a family one day. There are so many weird stories I could tell you about that time in our lives, but I won't. I will hold back. When it came to having kids, Paul and I decided between us that one of us would always be there for them. And what that meant to us was that we would have the time and the flexibility to prioritise them. When they were little, I stopped working for a number of years, and then I went back only part-time for quite a while. And this came with some consequences and trade-offs for my career. I watched less experienced colleagues advance. One of them even became my manager in that time. Other people would say to me, "Why is it taking you so long to return to work full-time?" But honestly, I don't have any regrets about that season because Paul and I were aligned on our decisions, believing that they honoured God. I realised that my path doesn't need to follow conventional success. I am committed to what God is calling me to do, even if that means sacrificing career advancement. To tell you the truth, I have never had a vision or a dream about what I should do for work. But I have known God's guidance along the way. When it came to business college, I found actually I really enjoyed it. And I started a job in human resources because I wanted to support organisations and work with people. But I needed to test if this decision or if this profession was really for me before I got serious about it. After a number of years, I discovered, hey, I really enjoy human resources, or people and culture as it's now called. And so I went on to study a bachelor's degree and a master's degree part-time while I worked. After having kids and when I was working part-time, I was wondering how could my background in people and culture be used to serve God's mission, even though I clearly lacked any typical skills. An opportunity presented where I was invited to join the board of SIM Australia, which was looking for someone with my background and experience. Paul and I prayed about that together, and we believed that that was God's will. And so I was able to serve on that board for a number of years. At another time, God presented a different opportunity, which was for me to return to a previous passion that I had, which was to serve at youth group with my local church, which was specifically needing a female leader. God has often surprised me when I seek Him first. God's will is for us to love Him with all our hearts and to love others as ourselves. If we keep moving forward in that direction, we can trust that God will give us the grace that we need in the big decisions as well as the small ones. Testing God's will can involve some trial and error, which is such a relief. Even in my own journey, not every decision has been clear. There have been so many moments of praying and waiting on God. Sometimes I even had to take a step forward or to have action go and do something before I really knew if I was on the right path. So, in the end, you can't have it all. And that's okay. All decisions contain some sort of trade-offs. You can have a big career, but you might not have time for relationships. You could have a beautiful home, but you might experience financial stress. You could prioritize your family, and you could sacrifice career potential and earnings. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." I think that's the Instagram slogan, right? We all need to learn to be content with the life that God has given us. There will always be further you can go in your career, another thing that you could possess, another relationship or experience that you could have had. Rather than focus on everyone else's status and success, trust that God knows what's best for us. And when we trust Him and seek His will, He will lead us into a life of joy and satisfaction. In the end, what's important is that you seek God's will for you and not someone else. Everyone's going to have advice and perspectives for you, but you can't let them determine your decisions. If you are ever feeling overwhelmed or even fearful about the decisions that you need to make, or if you feel the immense pressure of other people's expectations and definitions of success, then I want you to know that God wants to spare you from all of that. And what's more is, He doesn't want you to do it alone. He will put people in your path to help you navigate through it, but you might need to seek them out. God is always ready and waiting to connect with you through His Word, His Spirit, and His people. Whatever topic or decision is causing you anxiety right now, I encourage you to trust God enough to take it to Him, and together you can navigate your next step. Thank you.